Let's start off with just a little phrase. I spent much of my childhood listening to the sound of striving. It came in the form of bad music, or at least amateur music, coming up through the floorboards of my bedroom. The plink, plink, plink of students sitting downstairs at my great aunt's piano, slowly and imperfectly learning their scales. My family lived in the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago in a tidy brick bungalow that belonged to Robbie and her husband Terry. My parents rented an apartment on the second floor while Robbie and Terry lived on the first floor. She had a sly smile, but didn't appreciate sarcasm the way my mother did. I would sometimes hear her chewing out her students for having practiced enough or not practicing enough and chewing out their parents for delivering them late to business. Learning how to play the piano, learning Toastmasters, learning whatever you're doing to come up with a great idea to start a business. And a business challenge can come in many ways, whether it's to get started with a perfect, balanced budget, all the people in place, your coworkers, your colleagues, your friends. We have an amazing club, Entrepreneur, where we know full well what to do when it comes to starting a business. Would you like to start off with a challenge, or would you like to start off with knowing it all? It doesn't matter, because right here in this club, we learn both. And now let's move on with our presiding officer, Dr. Valencia Jones.
Thank you very much, Roz. We so appreciate you for that. I will try again to share my screen and hopefully it will work this time. Please let me know if you see the PowerPoint on the screen.
Not showing up. Still black.
It's still.
Now it showed up. Now it's there.
Okay, great. Well, that is wonderful to know. Thank you, Roz, for our inspirational moment. Frankie, thank you for our Pledge of Allegiance as we move through our club mission. April, can you read our club mission for us?
Absolutely. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
Thank you very much. We have announcements for this week. We want to continue to remind clubs because there's still a few that have not submitted their officer roles. There's pathways training that's going on. We're having an executive team meeting today. In addition to that, there is pathways training that I am doing on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. on first and third Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Free Toast Host training at 8:30 on the same nights. Happy birthday to all of the members that were born in July. If you have an anniversary, wedding anniversary, any career anniversaries, businesses that are starting this month or that started in July, we are happy to celebrate with you. And then who are we? This is a rotation of our Entrepreneurs Club that was chartered by many of our members that are still present here today. The first week we do pathway speeches on that Wednesday. The third Wednesday, similar to this one, there's a business challenge. And on the fifth Wednesday, we have a mastermind. And we're looking forward to our mastermind for this month. This is the fifth Wednesday, so be prepared and ready. As we move through, we would love to welcome every one of our guests, if we don't have any online, or if you just feel like one, because we're new and innovative every day, welcome. We hope that you join, and we have Q&A time at the end if you have any questions. Make sure he's online. Of course he is. Every meeting, we are graced with the presence of someone that has been involved in entrepreneur endeavors and having his own company for years. I would like to call to the virtual lectern, Mr. Charles Z. Radney, qualified speaker, to give us our educational moment for today. Please join us, Charles, and as you approach the virtual lectern. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. What I would like to do this morning, instead of an educational moment, is to dedicate this time to the late Dana Lamont. Some of you knew Dana, some of you didn't. I like to talk about 4 people that I know who personally benefited from Dana's presence in their lives. One was a young lady, a young Black law clerk in Los Angeles. Her name now is Frances Settles. I'm not sure what her name was at that point from a previous marriage. But as a new law clerk, as a nervous law clerk, she goes into court to present some papers. She's already nervous. She gets there, she finds out the judge is blind. Blind. How do you present to a blind person? She wondered. Dana could sense her nervousness. Dana could sense her being afraid. And Dana at that point pulled her in and had her become a part of Toastmasters. And through her Toastmaster career for both her and her husband, it helped them rocket through the levels of the AME church locally. The second person who was really affected by Dana Lamont was my friend, the late Dumas Martin Jr. Dumas Martin was attending one of the Speakers Bureau's meetings. And at this particular meeting, and I was the chair of Speakers Bureau at that point, at this particular meeting, Dana was the guest speaker. Dumas was blown away by Dana's caring, by his ability to reach out and connect to the audience. But what really affected Dumas was when one of the people in the audience asked Dana, well, how do you deal with your disability? Now, understand he'd been blind since he was 4. And Dana looked at the person, or it turned to the person and said, what disability? The other person who was with us this morning who really benefited from Dana was Randy Powell. When Randy Powell decided to embark on his speaking career, he approached Cheryl Rausch, one of the seniors in Toastmasters, and asked her who he should look up to, who he should follow. And he reached out to Dana and asked Dana, and he was told to talk to Dana. And he reached out to Dana, and he spent a month shadowing Dana. Randy, you want to share something about that real quick?
Yeah, you know, sometimes we get teachers who we struggle to understand. The communication is hard, or we're just they're not connecting, helping us connect the dots. And I had that challenge in school myself with certain teachers. But Dana was one of those teachers where he was very straightforward. He pulled no punches. He was so articulate, and his voice was so powerful, but yet he cared so much, and you could feel the love when he was teaching. And he took me away one weekend for an event, and in the hotel one night we were talking, and he said to me, he asked me a question. He says, Rondo, you didn't listen to the question. And I was shocked how deep and how sincere he was. And I caught myself because we don't listen. It's hard to listen. And in just one weekend, he gave me a huge lesson about learning how to actually listen and then answer the question. And it was a remarkable week and a remarkable time with him that I was able to travel with him and be taught by him. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Dana was a great friend, and he will be missed. Back to you, Dr. Valencia.
Thank you very much for our educational moment. Entrepreneurs, it is our job, our responsibility, and our duty to continue to reach up, to get mentored, but also to mentor, to teach people to articulate, to listen, to find the best in those new entrepreneurs that are coming up. And when all they can see is their disability, we ask them the question, what disability? Dana will be missed. And with that in mind, I would like to return back to the virtual lectern, our Toastmaster for the day, whose voice you've already heard a couple times. Our Toastmaster for the day, I would allow him to introduce him. I'll do his introduction the best I can, but I would like him to introduce himself, his business, what he's been working on for the past 30 years. But definitely, Randy Powell came to entrepreneurs as a mentor, a leader, an entrepreneur with over 30 years of experience, teaching, growing, learning, adding value to many of us that are online today, offering masterminds, even on my PowerPoint for our mastermind. Am I reading a teleprompter? No. I'm telling you just what an amazing person he is, has been, and that's just what I've noticed in the time that I've been an entrepreneur. While I'm mentioning this, there will be one schedule change. I will not be doing my business challenge today because we have 9 others that I can do it on, and I'll still have the same challenge. To have enough time to lend to Dana, to Randy, Suzanne Bond, and others, to each of our members and our guests, I'm removing myself. Without further ado, I would like to welcome to the virtual lectern and hope that you allow me by showing him some type of reaction, clapping, waving your hands, congratulations and celebration for the man, the myth, the very legend that's before your eyes in blue that most of us have on today, Mr. Randy Powell. Randy.
She is too much. I got to tell you, I'm going to have to, the next time I speak on a stage, I'm going to have her do the introduction. Wow, what an MC. You know, it's a blessing to be here, and I'm thankful that Melinda asked me to be a Toastmaster of the day. I haven't been a Toastmaster of a day in a long time. In fact, I haven't done. When I first joined Toastmasters, I was afraid to be the timer, and I was afraid to be the Toastmaster of the day because I didn't want to screw stuff up. And so I'm a little nervous right now because of that wonderful introduction. But hey, I am thankful to be here. I welcome everyone to the Business Challenge for Club 286-75370, July 17th, and we started at 7 a.m. And I want to introduce the theme in a different sort of way. And I don't want anybody to take offense to this, but I love artificial intelligence and I love sharing and teaching, and I'm always using it and always learning. And it's like anything else. It's what you put into it, you get out of it. So I'm going to read to you exactly what I put in this morning. And then I'm going to share with you real quickly what it says, not me, but what it says about Business Challenge. So here's the prompt. I said that we have a Toastmaster. Our next Toastmasters meeting is about, the theme is about Business Challenge. Since the members of the club are all entrepreneurs and the club is essentially for entrepreneurs, we do a business challenge monthly. Given that you are an expert in business and organizational matters related to this subject, what would be at least 3 examples of a business challenge? The idea is that if you sign up for this role, that you bring a business challenge and share what you did to overcome that. So the first thing I have to say is I have 3 examples and I'm going to share those examples, but I'm not going to share them all. But let me give you the first example. The first example is scaling operations efficiently. That's the challenge. The challenge is if you have rapid business growth leading to operational inefficiencies, but you have customer dissatisfaction, and then the solution is implementing new project management software, optimizing workflows, and hiring additional staff to manage the increased demand. And the outcome of that challenge that you've just overcome is to improve operational, or it has improved operational efficiency. You now have better customer satisfaction and sustained business growth. That is an example of a real business challenge based on some computer model that's much smarter and has much more access to data than I do. So the first thing I'd like to do is have us talk about the timer, and that happens to be Miss April Gillis, the fantabulous Miss April Gillis. Would you speak to us about your role as a timer?
Absolutely. And you are 100% correct. There's a lot of pressure with being the Toastmaster and the timer. So I'm glad that we're in the same boat of vulnerability, but we will perform with excellence as a team today. As our timer today, I will time each portion of our meeting. We will have each speaker speak for 5 minutes on their business challenge, followed by 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes of discussion following for Q&A. And if we run short on time, I will adjust that accordingly. But for each speaker, I will give you your initial 5 minutes. So for the first 5 minutes, you'll see the green at the 3-minute mark, the yellow at the 4-minute mark, and the red at the 5-minute mark for your 5-minute business challenge. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much.
I'm still playing with this thing, trying to figure it out. Okay, so thank you. And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce speaker number 1, Miss Suzanne Leonard. Suzanne will share with us today her business challenge from a place of frustration or frustrated anticipation. Her business service plan, based on service to the school, educational community, specifically the parent-teacher classroom partnership in all grades. Suzanne presents herself to us today as a classroom environment specialist, taking her skills as a lifetime educator into the classroom space to create a place of safety, beauty, and ownership. The value of these attributes, once in place, would cultivate increased attendance, positive attitudes, and academic excellence. Please help me welcome Miss Suzanne Leonard, the challenge, Miss Suzanne Leonard.
Wow, I'm overwhelmed with what I said I was going to present. Wow, it's a lot. And the challenge for me is focus. Focus. I mean, as Randy knows, I have a book, I have a keynote, and I boiled it down to what is your real passion? What do you love? And I love teaching. I love speaking. I love teaching. I love writing. So focus. And here's the frustrated anxiety part. I know I'm on to something here. I just don't know exactly how to get it out, which makes me pull back from all my creative energies and do nothing. Randy is way on the AI, and I'm trying to get the balance of, yes, AI makes us smart, the arts keep us sane. So there you have it. So my passion and value for the communication skills of children, as well as practicing these skills in a place of beauty, positivity, and ownership, balancing these skills, appreciating and knowing what to do, what to say, the individual spot. When I was growing up in teaching, we had a method called TII, Thematic Integrated Instruction, which meant everything we did in the classroom had focus. If we, for instance, in the springtime or summer, we did something on farming, our spelling words, our math, our art, everything had to do with that objective. It was kind of an overall scheme, and we loved it, and we thrived in that environment. So right now I am a company of one. bringing forth this idea into the community. I'm not sure how. As a classroom environment specialist, I was working with this thinking, what is it that I do? What is it that I have value for? What is it that I practice for 30 years an educator? And that is the environment in which we teach our children has collapsed, degraded in that the classrooms are dirty, the teachers are frustrated, and we teach to test. And that is not how I, as an educator, perceive what needs to go forward in our classrooms. They're designed for living things, and they need to have living things in them. That gardening, of course, would be part of the curriculum, a sustainable garden that would feed lunches and would take home vegetables and things for the families for the weekend are just a few. Engaging the community as artisans, musicians, artists, choral speaking, all those things that would enrich and enhance the education that would lead to attendance, academic excellence, and attitude. So those are the premises on which I hope to build a company, a presence. And today I am wanting your comments, your attention. Who would fund this? Where should it land? Is it relevant? Absolutely, to today's world. Who doesn't want to belong to a nurturing community? What parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle wouldn't want their loved one to be in a safe, nurturing environment? So today I ask your ideas on how to bring this forward in the best way. So with liberty and justice and value for all. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Wow. Excuse me. Okay. Well, I think that we have time now, according to the agenda, for some roundtable, round robin feedback from individuals. So if somebody would like to, looks like Roz has her hand up. I'm assuming that's for feedback time.
Yes, it is. Thank you,
Awesome.
Mr. Toastmaster. I love this phrase that Suzanne used. It says, classroom environment specialist. That's a new name for teacher, and I love it. Let's see if we could get that word spreaded around so that we don't just say teacher, we say classroom environment specialist. And then you said to enrich and enhance education. Education is so important. There are people who want to downplay education for our young family members coming up in a school environment to say, this is what I've learned. And how else can we learn if we are not engaged with a specialist who has been taught to give everyone a chance to grow, to be a part of a community? And I think that your idea, your business challenge to be with the environment of learning has to be enhanced. It cannot be the same old, same old. What you inspire teachers to do and students to learn from, I look forward to it. I didn't hear too many examples of what you might see the teachers or classroom environment specialists take care of. But I hope that in your next presentation, you can expand on examples of what they might be able to do for their students. Thank you.
Thank you, Roz.
Awesome. Awesome
Thank you.
feedback. Is there anybody else that can help Suzanne Leonard identify some, let's say, people who would, or organizations who would be looking for this kind of change in the classroom environment? Looks like
Mhm.
Dr. Jones.
Thank you so
And
much. My computer is glitching, so I apologize. I was trying to raise my hand early. Suzanne, as a fellow educator, there are a number of innovations that are taking place in education right now, and specifically on scholar athletes. We Are Young is someone that worked with me, and they've been around for over 30 years. They worked with me when I was at Dorsey High School. And my friend Chris took the program over when we graduated from Dorsey. And they were just on that NBC News. They are adopted by Nike. And Adidas also tried to beat them out. So Scholar Athletics is really coming together. I know people don't normally think about athletics and academics together because they're usually not synonymous. But right now, since the whole lawsuit that Ed O'Banny had and won with the NCAA, thank you for getting us paid, with the NCAA and those that played, by having us, all of us, that they, I guess, monopolize, or everybody's playing all these video games off of college athletes, and athletes weren't getting paid. Well, now the residuals are coming through. Based on that lawsuit, scholar athlete is the big buzzword right now. So I would not be afraid to branch out high, go high, far, and wide, because that's what we did for Chris Young and his organization. And right now they're sponsored by Nike, and they have a lot of publicity internationally, even though they still meet one Wednesday a month with the same 45 basketball players that they met 30 years ago when I was in there. Nothing has changed except for their sponsorships. So definitely look into scholar athletes. That's where I think you will find the most bang for your buck. Hopefully that helps you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Awesome, awesome. Looks like Miss April Gillis, our timer, has her hand up.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. And to thank you, Dr. V, for sharing that information. That's amazing, especially with those buzzwords. That goes along with a question that you asked, Suzanne, which was about funding. And so one of the thoughts that came to my mind that I'm not sure if you've solidified is the business structure that you've decided to go with. Many people decide on a nonprofit structure, but it sounds like you could possibly benefit maybe from a LLC or a S Corp structure where you have more control over what it is that you want to do in the classroom, and with using buzzwords as such as what Dr. Valencia shared. So when there's funding opportunities, you have your structure and your business structure already in place to figure out who do you need at the table, or what do you need for your structure right now. And that's something that you can start deciding with what do you want your foundation to be. As again, many may push you in the nonprofit realm, but that may not be where you necessarily want to go if you want to maintain the vision that you have and to have the type of funding or look for different funding opportunities. So again, because I heard you ask that question about how would you get it funded, I think that would depend largely on what type of business structure do you plan to go with. And that can help you right now with getting unstuck, it sounds like, with multiple directions, with saying, let me decide here, where do I want to go? And then you can look at the benefits of each type of business structure. And that can maybe give you some peace of mind with knowing that you're starting out with your foundation and knowing what type of control you want or don't want in order to attract different types of funding. All money isn't great money, and all money has different requirements. So if you have that in mind, again, I think you'll start with the end in mind. And I think Frankie, as a bookkeeper, will agree that if you think about your accountant on the other side now, when you get your funding, it'll make life a lot easier to have that in mind already. Thank you.
That is such professional advice, spoken so clearly. There's a gazillion other bits of information that I would add to that, but we don't have time. So let me tell you what I did. Does anybody else want to chime in real quick? Get your feedback in? Okay, here's my feedback. I typed in exactly what you were talking about, and I sent you an email already based on some information that came back from Chat GPT about who exactly what April said, who would be interested, where those parents can be found, what organizations. It's all there in an email that's already sent to you. And I even kept the information by copying myself because I thought it was a great opportunity to learn and to look at these organizations as well. So that's my feedback on the topic. Now I'm going to move on to speaker number 2. Sounds like Mr. Bond Wang has moved up to the Olympics and it's his turn in the pot. Mr. Bond Wang. All I know about him is that he's a fine gentleman, he's well spoken, he loves Toastmasters, and he's very creative when it comes to advertising. But he won't let me hire him because he's too busy. Anyhow, Mr. Bond Wang, talk to us about FTH.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Firstly, checking. Can you see my screen? Great. Thank you, April. I was trying to set up a second screen to check out myself, but I have the feedback problem. I gave up. I still rely on you guys to tell me how the display in the share screen going. Good morning. New year, new challenges, right? Are you guys seeing all these vibes in our club coming into this new year? I tell you what, another day, I have a one email box, which is dedicated to Entrepreneur Toastmasters Club. And I opened that email box. I have about 10 or 50 emails about our agenda, all the changes, assignment, unsigning, all that stuff back and forth, because I'm one of the members being noticed if there are changes in the agenda. I really love it. I want to I give you a shout out to our new VPE, Melinda, for her dedication, for her energy. It's just amazing. It's off the roof. Let's give her a big hand. Melinda, thank you so much for your energy. I received a call from her almost 10 p.m. in the night to ask for some roles and the early morning as well. Really appreciate her dedication. But meanwhile, I thought that maybe it's necessary to clarify some details on how to use this agenda to help ourselves improve the productivity. Melinda has been great at some steps, but there are some more details. So last night I was thinking, maybe I just quickly gave us a tutorial. I did give comprehensive tutorial before, but didn't focus on this agenda, how to use the agenda as a club member or an officer. So here I am right now, and let's dive in. This is our FreeToasters website. As a member, I have a 3-part of tonight. I'm a little jumping because I didn't prepare for this presentation. It just came up last night. I tried to focus on 3 parts. One is as a member, how to sign up. There are some simple, easy steps to help members sign up. And second one, more for VPE and other officers, which goes who can access and edit the meeting agenda. And then this following question, number 3, is how to edit and create new agendas. That is my 3-part. So let's dive in. First part, as a member, how to sign up. Now this website is not logged in yet. I will quickly log in. It's all live demonstration. So my pace maybe relies on my upload and Wi-Fi speed. And quickly move in. Log in myself. Here, I see in the email notices some members have a little difficulties to log in. But don't worry, if you forgot your password, just click the password and authorization, and you will receive a notifying email to help you go through the new password. I know it's a little annoying, but you will get there. So keep trying, and you will get your membership page. And here is the meeting agenda. You get the latest meeting agenda where you can sign. This system will recognize through your login information as a member. So those positions that are available for signing up will show up, and you will sign up by clicking the button. Obviously, this meeting already fully signed up, but let's look into a future meeting, its agenda. There are some vacancies where you can sign up. For me, it records my name. If I sign up, and my information will show up, and that position will be filled up. This is the easiest and quickest way. Another is quick role sign up. I really recommend us to use this part to give a pre-notice. If you are not going to, you're on vacation, you are not going to attend the meeting for the following couple of times, and come here to sign up whether you will attending or you will not attending. I noticed some members, Taya Reid and Ross, use that a couple of times. Taya Reid use that all the time to notify us she was not planning to attend for a couple of meetings. In that way, when we send manually for her role, and her name will be taken off from that list, that means we cannot send her up for other roles. It's a very effective role for us, especially for VPE, when Melinda is working on this agenda manually, and she will notice somebody's name is off the list. That means they already notified us, and they will not attend in the near future. And once you confirm you are attending, this default is attending, and then you can pick the role right here. It's very easy because you don't have to go to that agenda page. And once you sign that, and you set an attendance, and you close the window, your agenda, your assignment will be reflected immediately. Let's quickly move on. We cannot stay at each session for a long time. Another way is the email. I hope I can get that. If you are a member, you receive an email notice with an email formatted agenda. This is different from PDF format. That PDF is for everyone, but this email formatted email, the notice is for you to send up right on the email. This one I sent out this morning. Obviously, it's fully signed up. That means there is no vacancy here. In case there are some in the future and you are interested in taking that role, and you can sign up here. Of course, it will ask you to send a login and leave the further steps. If you don't want to go with those login steps, go back to the website. That is the point number one. And who can access? Let me quickly show you. Here I log in as a member, and now I log in as the site admin. I will show you the names listed as the members who have the access and editing right. Unfortunately, according to FTH policy, we only have one admin for this website. I wish I could delegate and team up with other members, but currently we can only assign one admin. So you have any questions about the editing right, let me know. We can work on that. Here on this website settings, there is an access setting to give all different members listed here different editing right. Come down here, there is a one access called agenda settings and template. What we have set up is we already set up VPE, VPM, Sergeant at Arms, in this case, Frankie Jones. to have the right to set agenda template. Also, if you want to work right on the agenda, we have an existing agenda, you want to change that without taking any role. For example, you are manually helping somebody, Susan Leonard, has a little difficulties to get into the agenda, and you help her. She is still member, and you can do that through this access. The VPE and VPM and Sergeant Arms. I might, our new VPM, Ross Carter, might be off this list a while ago. I noticed that last night, and we do need Ross Carter, my personal opinion, her help, her input, her experiences implementing the agenda. So without asking her, with short notice, I added her back on this list. I hope that is okay for Ross Carter. Then who can access? We have this list. So whoever feel you can help to change the agenda, if you are on this list, go ahead, feel free to change or edit the agenda. How to do that? How to change an agenda once you are on this list? Here is a existing agenda. Firstly, Melinda was asking me last night how to send this FreeTOS host formatted email notice. Here, there is an email icon on the top of the list. You can click every member. As far as you are a registered member on FreeTOS website, you can send out to, you can use this icon. You don't have to be assigned role in this meeting. You don't have to be one of the officers. You can send out to tell us, hey, this agenda is almost ready. Come over, send the other roles, whatever. Send up. That is why you receive all the email from previous VP Ross Carter all the time. I'm not going to send out, otherwise everyone will receive an email. And you are the member, you can do that. And then you want to change totally the format of this agenda. You want to add a new speaker's role, like what happened this morning. You can come over to click the pencil icon on the top, and you have all these new items where you can edit them. And then you want to add a new one, you can speak number 1. Number 3, and there was some pop-up to help you take the option. I'm not going to save that. And then it will show up at the bottom. And then you can move on and move down to get them in the right position. And you will pick the time. And that time will be added up automatically to make the proper length of this whole meeting. This is the one way. And also I saw Frank Jones. Frank was asking how to generate a new meeting agenda for the future. Here is how to do that. We have a storage of meeting agenda templates storage, but that will be accessed by the admin, the website admin. But as one of the officers who have the access, how to do that, you can click the plus, and that will show current meeting date, but you want to pick a future one. Go to the future. I just randomly pick one of the, let's say September 18th, and you will have the items. No, that's not come up. This part, I didn't get through that. But anyway, Frankie, to answer your question, this is how to set up a new meeting agenda. And let me try it again.
Hey, Bond, we're going to have to move on in a minute.
Yes. Okay. I think that's it. We have these three part, and if we have time, we can have some Q&A in the round robin. Thank you. Back to you, Randy.
Okay, so based on what he presented, what Bond presented, are there any hands that are going to fly up? Yes, Frankie.
The question was, how do we access a template that's already set up that we can edit? That was what we were, the two that I created from scratch. And I used, the previous meeting as my guide.
Mhm.
But Melinda and I both, there's got to be an easier way to take an existing meeting and set it up for a new agenda.
Any
So-
feedback on that, Rod?
And that can be handled offline. It just, that's where our focus was, how to use the templates. So a couple of the templates that I clicked on were templates.
Okay, anybody else got any feedback? Anything?
This
Okay,
was really
we're gonna-
helpful. Thank you. I definitely
We're going to
learned
move on.
Can I have 1
Awesome.
minute, Frankie? Quick show you, maybe your question may be also relevant to others. Here is an agenda in the future, August 7th, and you want to have a new agenda. Open this agenda and click the plus icon, and you change the date to another one, like August 21st, and then you select agenda. Here you have the access. It's
Okay,
very short notice, but
you can-
that's how you go through this access to the
And
previous.
maybe
template.
maybe Bond, you can get with her privately on that. We've got to move on. I'm going to introduce our table topics master before we lose table topics, Melinda Magonzo.
All right. Good morning,
Welcome.
everyone. Can you hear me? All right. Good morning. We ready for table topics? Just answer quickly. I'm going to put some challenges out there. First, to just let you know, today in society, small business owners, we as entrepreneurs go through challenges. Some people go through different things in getting started. So here are a couple of things that are out there. The world says people have problems with lack of funds, lack of time, finding good employees to hire, finding balance between growth and quality, and ineffective web presence. Which one of those 5 affected you when you began as an entrepreneur? Was it lack of funds, lack of time, lack of growth, lack of web presence? Pick one and speak to it for a minute. I dare you. Come on, let's share. Go team, go.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in there for the purpose of the fact that I don't think of lack of. First of all, let's get our minds clear around that. There's no such thing as lack of, and that's a mental mindset. There's no such thing as lack of funds. There's no such thing as time. Lack of time. There's no such thing as lack of growth or web presence unless you just haven't put yourself out there in the world so the world knows you're here. But maybe you have. Now, when we talk about lack of funds, as a quick example, there is no lack of funds. There's plenty of money out there. It's lack of understanding where the money's at and how to go get it, and whether or not you're bringing value to the marketplace that will put money back into your pocket. There is a lack of time, but we don't know how much time there is. So how can there be a lack of time? We don't know how much time we have. We know we have right now, we're breathing, we're upright, et cetera, et cetera. So how can you even say we have lack of time? We know that time is our most precious asset, but we can't lack it because we don't know how much time we have. And then growth. There's no such thing as growth, because if you're here in this Toastmaster meeting, then you're here because you want to learn something, which equates to growing. And I can't speak for you, but on the terms of web presence, if you don't have a website, but yet you're in business, then yeah, you have a lack of website presence. If you are not on social media, whether you like it or not, in some form or fashion, if you're an entrepreneur, then you're not out there. So yeah, you have a lack of presence in that area, which is still lack of presence on the web. Think of the web as the worldwide access that you have to people that you did not have 30 years ago. So there is no such thing as lack of. It's lack of imagination. That's where it's at. It's lack of having the right mindset. Anybody else got to chime in there or feel like chiming in? No? Okay, Melinda, go on to, you got another one for us?
Yes, I do.
Wait, hold on. Point of order. Point of order. Someone had their hand up.
Yeah,
Who
Harish
had their
has his
hand up?
hand up.
Yeah,
Hand
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Point of order.
Oh, let's do it.
So
So
maybe timer, you can hold on. Timer, you can stop and start again, just for clarification for Harish. Okay, thank you.
I wanted to add on the web presence. Sorry, I have a hoarse voice today. I'm not feeling well. I think what is very, very important is the way things are communicated with the clients. There's too much of information out there. We are being bombarded with social media. We've been bombarded with information and misinformation. There is a very nice strategy which I read a few weeks ago, which is called 3-dimension. You need to have a personal, a future, and a story on your web page. Personal means it has to have something that is going to benefit the customer. Why he should buy your product, what is his engagement with the product, or how it's going to be like. There has to be a future, which means after they use the product, something has to be better, which means it will change them for whatever reason. Like if you have a healthy product, you'll say if you eat that, you become healthy. If you wear the clothes, if you have a clothing web page, you wear the clothes, you'll start looking good. And also you have to have a story in your social media or web page, which is you show the pictures, you get your real customers talk about it, you show them the real engagement and the real kind of things that you do for your members. I think we're short on time. This is it from me, and back to you. Thank you.
I second the motion, Harish. Very good feedback. People buy and invest in you for one reason and one reason only. They have a problem, you have a solution, and you can explain and communicate the outcome, the benefit. What is the benefit to them, and how is that going to transform them and give them what they perceive that they want or need? It's not about what you want to offer. It's about what do they want and need, which means you have to solve their problem. And if you can communicate how that is done and how you can serve them and help them, then you're going to get a sale. And it doesn't matter if it's he, him, them, her, the organization, and individual, etc. I have to caution my friend Harish on being male dominated versus including male and females, and that's the we are in business together. So God bless you on that, Harish. Anybody else? Well, if there's nobody at table topics, Melinda, are you done?
I have
Did you
one
get it
more
in?
question. Do we have
Go
time
for it. One more.
one
We're going to
question
squeeze you in.
Okay. Today in society, they say that there are 3 challenges in the business environment that are impacting organizations today. And the 3 challenges are either it's a economic issue because of inflation, or it's a technology issue because of changes in what's happening with the innovations in technology, or it could be day-to-day operational. So it's economic, it's technological, or it's operational. You as a business owner today, are you impacted by one of these 3 challenges? Pick one, give us 30 seconds on it. Is it economic for you? Is it technological, or is it operational? How do you do day to day? How do you run your business day to day?
I cannot believe there's so much silence
Thank
here.
you very much, Madam Table Topics Master.
Awesome.
We appreciate you for recognizing our 5 to 7 seconds of think time as we gather up our answer. As the CEO of Smart Kids Preparatory Academy for the past 16 years and a full-time educator myself, and the entrepreneur of Jones Leadership Solutions, I can say for Jones Leadership Solutions, it's operational. Jones Leadership Solutions has only began a year and a half ago and really off the ground within the last 4 months. So now that I fully have a business plan, those that are on board with the business plan. Rolling out the business plan has been 4 months. Therefore, it's operational. How is it gonna look? What's gonna happen next? The marketing is done, the videos are done, the promotion is done, working with your customers are already done. And knowing that this is something that I started doing back from 23 all the way to 37, and that's coaching entrepreneurs and speaking across, getting paid to speak outside of the country and in the country. It's now time to relook at it in 2024 because it looks very different than it did in 2001, 2002, and 2003. So definitely unlearning everything that I ever knew and was taught and relearning it from a 2024, as Mr. Powell said it earlier, learning AI, learning technology, understanding the multiple platforms of how you can create your own commercial in 2.5 minutes without having you on it, that I can train in 5 different places at one time as an AI. It's new and innovative. So for me, Jones Leadership Solutions, it's operational. Thank you very much. Great questions. Thank you again for the wait time. And back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Yes, I take on another person with the same question. As an entrepreneur, so for you, is it economic, is it technological, or is it operational?
Who are you asking?
It's open to all the entrepreneurs on the meeting. Which one is your biggest challenge today? Economic, because of inflation, technology, or operational, running it from day to day?
We're out of time, Melinda.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're gonna have to move on now.
Thank
Okay,
you for your
well,
response.
thank you, Melinda, and that was actually an absolutely phenomenal set of questions you had. I wish we had more time to dig into that a little bit more. Right now, I'd like to introduce our general evaluator, Miss Frankie Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I've got a bit of a froggy throat this morning. But I want to commend you, number one, as our Toastmaster. Exemplary job. And I really appreciated you explaining the theme and posing those ideas for us. Also, Suzanne, I loved your business challenge. I hadn't thought of that. I love that term that you said, classroom environment specialist. And some of the examples that you did give really piqued me. I would love to have a gardening quotient with our, especially K through 6th grade, to get that love instilled early and to let them see the harvest, as it were, and to be able to share with their family. Music and arts, which have kind of been stripped from our schools in so many ways, get that back into our lives. And it is a challenge. Who do you approach and how do you fund it? I love the feedback you got from April on business model, from Dr. V on the scholar athletic idea, and Randy on using AI. I'm just jumping into that pool myself lately, and it is exciting. So well done. One suggestion, you gave an acronym, TII, and I did not catch all of that. So when you are giving acronyms, you might want to repeat it more than once so that we can take that away. Bond, thank you so much for that tutorial on Free Toast Toast and showing us what we need to do and where we need to go. And I can talk with you offline on that question that we had, because that was Melinda's and I challenge when we were working together. we had an engaging meeting. I loved it. We all popped in, except for you, Nez. I haven't heard from you today. And thank you, Harish. The three dimensions you shared with us. That was good for me to look at. Table topics, Melinda, wow. You really tailored it to the entrepreneurs and what we face day to day and how do we handle that. So thank you for that opportunity to share. We've been a little behind time, but it was worth it to me. And I return conduct back to our Toastmaster, Randy.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm about ready to give it back, to turn it over, to throw the ball back to control of the presiding officer, but Dr. Valencia Jones. But before I do that, I have to say one thing. I want to challenge each and every one of you to consider whether or not, all things being wonderful today, a business challenge versus training. I want you to really think about that based on the one example I used, and you can go in and find all kinds of examples of business challenges. You heard some today, but really consider, is training a business challenge? It could be, but should it be? Is training? Is a business challenge there to help us identify how we can add value to somebody who's actually having a business challenge in their business or their partnership, etc. I turn it over to Dr. Valencia Jones. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Randy Powell, April Gillis, Frankie, and everyone else for what you have done today to make this Entrepreneur Toastmasters meeting a success. Definitely, we are innovative, we are ever changing, and we always bring out the best in everyone. As stated, entrepreneurs, in our own right, our club could be looked at as a business. Free Toast Host was a challenge, and to know that we had a member of our team, to notice that it was a challenge with our members, with our executive team, and even our guests, and to step up and create a platform of training for all of us, and then have questions posed. And the challenge hasn't finished yet, but also to see everyone step in, chime in, and appreciate what's been done thus far. We appreciate you for the training. Suzanne, we appreciate your challenge as well. Randy, Charles, everyone, this has been a huge success. Table topics, Melinda, thank you for what you did in engaging us, inviting us to share. I feel like everyone has had a chance to speak. And Madam Nez, you are our faithful Toastmaster. I would be remiss as a president if we didn't hear you say a couple words. I would never put you on the spot. If you don't want to speak, you don't have to. But everyone online has spoken today. So if you don't mind, I hope you could unmute and just share with us for a couple of minutes how you felt the meeting was. Maybe something about your business or what you learned today, just because we appreciate you for your faithful membership and we want to hear from you. Madam Nez.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I joined Toastmasters initially to learn to speak better because since I got my mental health, my speaking ability deteriorated. But when it comes to Entrepreneur Club, our club, it's leveling up. It's more than learning to speak, but also learning the business and learning to be with people of high caliber. I am excited to come to the meeting, but at the same time, I am always nervous because I am afraid to make mistakes in my speech. But the learning is really priceless, and I would always love to be here. And for Madame Suzanne, for her speech, I as a teacher myself, I love your idea, and I believe if you can make make it in writing and present it. If you can choose one school as a model and then make it perfect there, it will have its wings to be scattered, to be known by anybody else. So maybe you can start from that. That's all. Thank you very much, everybody.
Wow, can we just give Nez a round of applause? Madam Nez, your nuggets of wisdom were invaluable. Please feel free to share with Suzanne in the future. All of us had to start messing up and failing. We just failed forward. We just failed and kept trying. We just failed and kept going in education and entrepreneurship, as parents, as family, as leaders. So please never be afraid. Please come to learn and please come to listen. With that in mind, we have a closing thought that we would like to end with before we go into our executive meeting that's immediately following this meeting. Are there any other comments for the good of the order? I don't see any other closing comments. I guess I will close with this. Thank you so much, Charles, for just recognizing Dana, the contribution, what he's done. We appreciate that. And now I am definitely asking Roz Carter to please unmute and give us the invaluable wisdom that we need in order to lead us through to the next Toastmaster meeting, where we'll have our mastermind. Madam Roz.
Thank you, Madam President. This closing thought is from, I don't know if you could see it, the book Becoming. It might be shown a little backwards, but it's by former First Lady Michelle Obama. I love this book. For 8 years, I lived in the White House, a place with more stairs than I could count, plus elevators, a bowling alley, and an in-house florist. I slept in a bed that was made up with Italian linens. Our meals were cooked by a team of world-class chefs and delivered by professionals more highly trained than those in any five-star restaurant. Secret Service agents walked around with their earpieces and guns and deliberately flat expressions stood outside our doors, doing their best to stay out of our family's private life. The White House is where our two girls played ball in the hallways and climbed trees in the South Lawn. It's where Barack sat up late at night, poring over briefings and drafts of speeches, and where Sonny, our dog, had free rein to play with all the kids and myself and Barack. However, there was a time when we could not open up windows to let in fresh air, and I miss that, the smell of magnolias. I feel that there were moments when the beauty of this country and its people so overwhelmed me that I could not speak. When we cannot speak of how excited we are to live life and to be a part of any business challenge, any Toastmasters club, we should be ashamed of ourselves. We have to have the opportunity to speak and to feel like we're not overwhelmed. I hope the message from former First Lady Michelle Obama resonated with you as it did for me, and that you be well and have a blessed day and continue enjoying Toastmasters. Back to you, Madam President.
It looks like her
Like we lost her.
internet may have kicked off, and it's
Yes.
8:14, so I think it's safe for us to adjourn and maybe take a quick break for our leadership meeting next.